Welcome, people of the World Wide Web. So it's Wednesday, so it's another midweek. Look what I am. Look what I'm watching. Even if you'd think after 20 odd weeks I'd know what the title's called. So yeah, so thank you all for coming along. Thanks for watching the series, staying with the series. Everybody out there, are you enjoying it? Please do let me know. Feedback's what I can change. This week, as time went on, I started to do it. A highly recommend. I haven't got one this week, so it's just going to be standard. But what have I got for you? So, as it's been 2 weeks, we have quite a lot for you to get there. So 7. I've watched a lot of online stuff, but I'm only going to try and keep it to physical media as much as I can for this series. So, and yeah, as I say, if there is anything you want to see, if I'm doing something wrong, or not doing something wrong, but if there's thing I can improve it, please do let me know. So let's get into this. Massive haul. So been on a big binge. So the first one up is the Justice League versus the Teen Titans. So this is one that I received from my wife for our anniversary last month. So I got quite a few of the DC ones, so expect to see quite a few of those over time. So yeah, I didn't realise I actually had seen this one. So this is where a Dark Demon basically starts taking over the Justice League, and it is down to the Teen Titans to stop this. I do quite like this animation. It is more kind of based around, it starts off with the Justice League and then works its way to the Teen Titans, and then they kind of have a battle at the end. It was all right. I did like characters in that. I wanted to see a bit more. I know when it comes to animating stuff, they are, especially when they've got a story, you've got to limit how much you see of each person. But I thought, I do like this style, and I do like a lot of ranges there. So, I did quite like that. So that was the first one. The one we watched and I picked up recently is Sonic. So I saw this at the cinema many years ago, and obviously I've seen 2. Again, on the second watching, I really did like this. I do like Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. Just trying to remember what his name is between 1 and 2. And yeah, I did thought it was quite good. It's a very interesting concept, and I'm glad this did well and open up the gates for like the Super Mario Brothers film and other stuff. If movies are done well and they take the time, and even in this one, they listened to the fans of the design of Sonic and a few bits they changed. I'm glad they did. God knows what it would have been like if they hadn't changed it. But yeah, I again really like this. If you like it, if you're a gaming fan, if you like family entertainment, that's sort of straight up your street. And the third Blu-ray that we have for this week is Superman, Man of Tomorrow. So this is kind of a coming of age in ages of Superman. It's Clark Kent when he first comes to Metropolis and just joins the Daily Planet. You can see in there Lobo, so we actually get to see Lobo turn up, and then obviously Parasite here on the left. These are the main 3 characters that it's about. You do actually see the Martian Manhunter, but they've not actually featured him on the cover. He's the only other main character besides Lex Luthor and Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane that you get to see in this movie. And it is quite good. It's a little bit different. I don't really know much story about Parasite, so him. It is a very interesting collaboration, and obviously it's there to kind of it's kind of a jumping on point for people who like Superman to learn a little bit about him, and you learn a little about these Kryptonian and stuff. So it was quite good on that point. And stuff, and and bits like that. And overall the animation is good and stuff. And I say, like with the other one, DC do really, really well with the animation style and stuff. And the voice acting is done really, really well. So I think Parasite's design is what I remember him from the comics and maybe the older DC movies is a little different. So very, so I do like that. But yeah. So that's where we have it. So then we go on to the DVD. So this is one I picked up really good. Me, Earl and a Dying Girl. This is a little bit, I want to say, an artsy film. So what you have is you have this young lad here. This is his mate Earl, as the title says, and obviously this is his neighbour or a little while down. And unfortunately she gets leukemia and she is dying. He is forced at first to kind of be her friend, and then it's kind of how their friendship blossoms over her having treatment. There are some twists and turns involved, and it is very much with the subject matter of grief and how you handle it and relationships and stuff like this. And it is not your usual film. As I say, the title kind of gives a little bit you know, it's not going to be the most happiest movie in the world, so to speak. A lot of things that they deal with, but overall, you know, it is a good film. So it's a bit artsy in that in place. I say I bought it, I watched it. It was all right. I mean, she's Artemis from Ready Player One, so I remember her before. This guy, he was Billy in the Power Rangers movie, and I watched a chick flick with him as an older person, and I thought it was really well, because I think this is like 2017, 2018, 2015. Even there you go, it's even older. But it's an all right as films go. You know, if you want to say a bit of cry, or you know, a bit emotional, that's it. Then we move on to the next one, so Submerge. So this was one I was luckily given to by Matt's V Movies. He said he's like submarine movies. I don't think he'd watched it, so he gave it to me, and I decided to watch it, so I put it on my list. Now, false advertisement here, there's a submarine. There's about 20 minutes of submarine action in it. For an hour and a half movie, obviously, there's not a lot. So, the title and this is all kind of a little fabricated. You know, they've taken one plot point out of it. It is a fairly old movie. I think it's early 2000s, 2004. It's got like Vinnie Jones and a few other people, and I did quite like their characters in it. It is the very as you would expect movie. I think from what I've read, there was a lot of issues with Steven Seagal and the rest of his cast, and how how he treated them, and then you know, and then they treated him a little bit bad back. So there's a few stuff on IMDb that I think is a bit fabricated, but yeah, and most of all, he didn't seem like the best person to work with, and unfortunately some of the fight scenes are very lackluster, not what you would expect from, you know, Steven Seagal, you know, Under Siege and stuff. But it was all right. I said I enjoyed it. You know, it's not like you know, if I wanted, I'm saying I preferred Vinnie Jones' character more than Steven Seagal, which he probably took more front position, but that's it. So the next one, we have another one of my top 100 lists. So this is Mary and Max. So this is a stop motion animation film. This is about a young girl called Mary and a middle-aged man called Max, and they become pen pals. It's still got label on there. I've got to take that off. Yeah, it is a little bit weird, because they kind of build up this friendship over these letters. Unfortunately, Mary is a bit of a shut-in. Her parents aren't, or her dad is a bit weird, and her mum's a bit of a control freak, so to speak. Max, he has quite a lot of issues and works from home, and it's kind of how these two bond together over their different likenesses and what happened in their life, and there's ups and there's downs. It is very weird, very artsy, you know, and I've used that before. You know, at the Cannes Film Festival, this is the sort of film that probably was at the Cannes Film Festival. Very different. The fact of a middle-aged man befriending her, and she's a very young girl, I would say like early teens at the very beginning, begs a few questions there, but it is all innocent, and it is interesting how the story takes them, and it's kind of two different people from two different backgrounds and stuff becoming friends. So I say it's on my 100. I've watched it. I wouldn't say it's up there with the 100, but I would say it's not the worst one out of the 100 I've watched so far. And then the final one, I watched this last night, so it's Solas, if that's right. Now, this reminded me a little bit of the Nicolas Cage film Next. So what happens is you have Jeffrey Dean Morgan and his partner are trying to solve a set of crimes where someone is killing a load of people. Anthony Hopkins is a doctor, and he has basically ability where he touches something and that he can kind of see the future and see possibilities, what can happen, exactly like Next. It turns out that, not giving much away, but Colin Farrell is the villain, and he has the same power. So they kind of cancel each other out a little bit, and it's kind of the to and fro of them. I say it's probably, I would put Next above it, because I think it does better. I mean, there are some good concepts and some good sections of it, but I think the story overall is a bit weak in places, and this kind of your mind wanders sometimes, or you're just not as involved, and I just think it needed a bit more of a different story. I mean, some of the, it is mainly them two, and there are a few bits where Colin Farrell is supposed to be far powerful than Anthony Hopkins, but there are a few bits that go against that. So But anyway, that is everything I've been watching after the past 2 weeks. I should be back next week with another episode. Again, if there's anything you want to comment or please do put it down. Any feedback is good feedback for me. If you're watching this, I want to do the best for you, so I'm happy to improve that. Otherwise, I've been Cypher Sigma. Do all the jazz that you normally do, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.